all of those channels because we need you. We are getting ready to do some new things. We're getting ready to expand. And my guests tonight are coming on tonight to talk about their new releases, what got them on this journey, and some other big news that we're going to be sharing. Y'all, I'm so excited. But tonight, I want to go ahead and open us up with something that is very near and dear to my heart, because I feel like if you're like me, your faith has been tested. I'm just going to leave that right there. If your faith been tested and my faith, I just feel like my faith is being tested. If that's you, put a 1 in the comments. If you feel like your faith has been tested, put a 1 in the comments, because y'all, it just seems like everything is coming at me all at once. I mean, people are like being misunderstood, people talking about me, people stabbing me in the back, people just doing dumb stuff. I'm just going to say it like I feel it. They just doing dumb stuff. And I just feel like I'm and at first it's like, am I in spiritual warfare? What is going on? But you know, that to me is always a sign for a believer that when you are doing what God has called you to do, that's what's making the enemy mad. Because as long as I wasn't doing nothing, long as I wasn't talking about it, long as I was just doing any old thing, wasn't nothing happening. I wasn't having any problems with anything. And I said, you know what, God, I must be doing something right, because I feel like I've been attacked from every direction, and all I could do is just keep praying and stay focused, because I said, devil, what you're not going to do this time is get me off my game. You are not getting me off of my game. You're not getting me out of myself. I'm not. And I did blow up one day. I did, but I kept it under check. I only vented to the people. I only vented to somebody. I didn't go to the person to lose my whole mind like I felt in my whole spirit. Hey, if you've been there, baby, let me know, because I need to make sure it's not just me. And then I just thought about, and I came across this scripture, James 1:3, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And I was like, God, I thank you. Because when I saw, God found this scripture and God laid it on my heart, God had to give it to me. That's when I realized I'm going through this because of I knew that my perseverance, because when you have faith, it's going to push you to go to that next level. It's going to push you to see beyond what you can see now. It's going to push you to be able to leap those tall buildings in a single bound. It's going to push you not to listen to all your naysayers. It's going to push you to be able to feel like you're under attack and you still winning, because that's what we have got. That's all we got to stand on is our faith. We have got to have the faith in what God has showed us, and know that God has chosen us for this season. God has chosen us and given us the creativity that we have. God is downloading. The thing is, you got to start listening. Yes, I know you probably feel like I can't sleep. And I'm realizing now, this is why I can't sleep, is that I got so much going on in my mind. It's hard for me to shut it down. And then it's like I had so many distractions coming at me. And I said, you know what? I'm good. I'm good now, because with all of these distractions, with all these things that are happening, I still am seeing the finish line. I'm still seeing projects being completed. I'm still seeing people signing up for what I'm doing. I'm still seeing God showing up just for me when I need him most. You know, a lot of times we always make this joke about it's just 11:59, baby. I feel like I've been living in 11:59 for the past 3 or 4 months. It's like everything is getting right there. Everything is happening. And I want you to be aware of, you might be feeling tested, and it's okay. Feel tested. But the thing is how do you survive after the test? Are you winning? If you are winning, then you know that you are passing the test. Because see, when you pass the test, it's all about going full circle. Because see, God has to know he can trust you to go to that next level. God has to know that he can trust you to be in the boardroom and make the right decision. God has to know that he can trust you to be on that platform speaking about his goodness and your business and your book and your products and your services. God has to know that he can trust you, because this is going to be your season of but God. And that's the way I feel. That's how I feel it. It's going to be all about your but God, but God put me in this thing. But God has showed up for me just when I needed most. But God. That's what I'm trying to tell you, y'all. You're getting ready. A lot of times say, "Oh, I'm in my butt God season," but baby, let me tell you right now, you are truly in your butt God season. Because see, I know the ladies that are on with me tonight, they are in their butt God season. Because when I tell you, we feel like we have been dumped in that fiery furnace. But see, the thing is, we're coming out of the fiery furnace and we not smelling like smoke. Because when I tell you we got products, we got stuff that we getting ready to drop. That is fire. We getting ready to deliver the fire, not just be in the fire, but we getting ready to deliver the fire. Because right now, y'all, it's and I'm so excited about it. And y'all, I just don't even know what to say. It's just been one thing. It's just been awesome to have these ladies in my life and to be able to show up and they are there. And we have been working on these projects for so long. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's been so long. I know it's been over a year. We're approaching a year. Yeah, we are approaching a year. And it's so exciting to know that we have made it to the finish line. So, guys, if nothing else, just know that your faith is being tested, but it's only to bring you perseverance. And just write that down, James 1 and 3. If you got to put that on your mirror in your bathroom, so you will know that your faith, because you know, and where it says you, put your name there, because Deborah knows that the testing of Deborah's faith produces perseverance. Yeah, make that thing personal. Because see, when you make it personal, then it gives a whole new meaning. Well, all right, guys. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my guests up to the stage. I'm so excited to have them back, Miss Pinda L. James and Miss Tricia Haka Combo. I'm glad to have them here with me tonight. And y'all, we are just getting ready. Hey, we did y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves, and for those that might be catching us for the very first time, and tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, hey everybody, I am Pinda L. James. I am a writer, author, podcaster, film writer, and scribe coach. TPC, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Tricia Parker Combo, and I am the founder of Ain't No Shame Coaching. I am an author and I'm an empowerment coach.
Awesome, 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 y'all. I told y'all I was in a room with some fire, with some powerhouses. We are here to just jump. Y'all, let's just jump right on in. Who wants to ask the first question? Yes, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that this is y'all. Okay, so first of all, let me just let people know we are live on Facebook, we are live on LinkedIn, and we are live on YouTube on the Conversations with Deborah Franklin. Y'all, we want y'all to know. So if you are catching us right now, please like and share. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Did I say it all? Like,
Yes.
share, subscribe. That's what we need
And
y'all to
comment too.
do. Oh, and most of all, y'all got to join in the conversation. We want your questions
Mhm.
as well. Yeah, we got some questions that we've been working on, but we want y'all's questions as well because we want y'all to participate. So we got like, share, subscribe, ask questions.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's it now. All right, who wants to go ahead and get us started?
All right. My question that I want to ask is what inspired you to turn your personal journey into a message that helps others?
Okay, I'll answer. I'll start us out. I guess one thing that inspired me would have to be my grandmother.
Mm,
My grandmother's definitely inspired me to do a lot because one thing that my grandmother told me, she said, one day I'm going to be holding a book that you wrote that I'm going to read, and
wow.
I had started it, but I just hadn't finished it by the time she passed. So that's one thing that has inspired me and motivated me to go to that next level in my writing and sharing my story.
That's awesome. My grandmother inspired me as well. I would sit on her king size bed and we would read together Shel Silverstein poetry. And she would consistently, I'm talking about before email, she was sending me homework during the summer, like, you need to read these books and write me an essay. So that's how I spent spent my summers growing up. What about you, Trisha?
So, what inspired me is two people. First is my great grandmother, Mamie Parker. And when I was about 7 or 8 years old, she passed away. But when I was younger, she was my best friend, and I spent every day and night with her. We would drink. Well, she had coffee and I had tea, and
Mm.
so that one broke my heart when she was gone. But and then the next person that inspires me is my mom. She's been encouraging me to write a book for over 20 years, and so
Wow.
I finally listen to her. You know how
Wow.
we don't listen to our mamas, but I finally listened to her and went on and did what I needed to do, which was write the book.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How was it confirmed? How okay, let me ask you the question like this. I'm sorry, because I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it like I'm like this. How was it confirmed that God called you to write about the subjects that you chose in your books?
Ooh. Trisha, you want to tackle it first?
All right. You want me to go? I'm gonna go first. Yeah, I'm gonna go first. So with me, I was over there in the living room thinking I was gonna write my book by myself, just me, God, and everybody else, right? That was in my head. So I had like 2, 3 pages wrote out, and I sat and I took a moment. I said, Lord, I need help. And I was introduced to Penda L. James. And after that, talking with her, and she confirmed what I was doing was the right thing. And so we ended up starting writing a book. We wrote half a book about money. And
Hmm.
we met for the first time one I don't know what day, it had to be Wednesday because she was at the Mocha Room one Wednesday, and we had a conversation. And by the time I got back from the bathroom, she had done said, "Well, God let me know you got to change the title of the book." That's how it went. That's
Mm,
how it went. God told her, and I said, "Well, ooh, my feelings was a little hurt, but I understood the assignment."
mm, that's funny. I was there that day, and it was a. I'm telling you, Deborah, it
Where
was.
you
It was
thought
a
you
move
was?
of God. It was a move of God. It was a move of God. With me writing Running Between Dandelions, this is a story. It's a story about three generations of women. I'm wearing my father's hat today. I often, put on particles of like my parents' clothing when I want to be inspired. And coming into the room today, I was like, I'm gonna bring wonderful Will in the room with me today. But writing about these three generations of women, it was confirmed for me because I literally felt everything that they felt.
Mm.
I would be writing and I could feel like if one of them had a headache, I felt the headache. If they were angry, I could feel it in my body. Like Trisha, I started writing my book and I was going in one direction. And then one particular day, something shifted and a whole nother character came alive. And I had to follow her story until I got to the end. And I knew it was God because I couldn't stop. It would be early in the morning, late at night. Like Deborah and I were writing for like 9 hours one day. And literally, I did not feel tired.
Yeah, I have to totally agree with you because I knew it was confirmed for me two ways. One, I had put out a feeler about the title. I said, "What y'all think about this title?" And
Mm.
somebody responded. They were like, "Oh, we like that." I said, "Well, then that's what we gonna do." And then, oh no, I can say three things. And then the other time was when Penda was like, "I'm in this writing course and I'm doing this and I'm doing this." I said, "You doing what?" I said, "Well, how am I gonna do this?" And so that's when I was trying to decide too, when I got into the course, was whether I was gonna rewrite something or finish the novel.
Hmm.
And so what happened after we were talking, and then I looked at everything that we were doing, I said, heck, I might as well go on and finish the novel. It's gonna be the same amount of work, and I've been trying to get it out. And it was just for me, the biggest thing too was just seeing how everything fell together,
Yeah.
how it all came together. Yeah, we were up that 9 hours and we was
Yeah.
killing it. We
Killing
were
it.
I was still kind of low key, as my kids would say, low key hating on Penda, because Penda always had like 5,000 more words than me. I'm like,
Yeah.
Lord Jesus, am I ever gonna catch up? And it was so cool to finally have that final word and then sending it off to be edited and seeing the book
Hmm.
cover. So that's how I knew at that point what God was doing, and that I had to be on the right train, because I had so many outer things that was affirming what I was doing and trying to do.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good. We talk about editing. Like, I had my book edited like 13 times. And literally,
Mm.
I'm still like, it's already been uploaded. I told myself I'm not messing with it no more after tonight. It's already been uploaded, but I was reading it out loud to my cousin, and I was hearing things, and I was like, no, I need to change that. That doesn't make sense. No, and Trisha was like, Pinda, you really, that's like procrastination. But it wasn't that I didn't want to release it. It's just, it's my first novel, and I know how critical people can be. I know, like, especially a lot of the people that I know who love to read, they are critical. And I was like, I can take the criticism, but I want to be up there with, them saying, okay, now it has some structural concerns, but this book is good.
Right,
I
right,
don't want
right,
it to be like, I don't know why she wasted a year writing this thing. Like, that's kind
right.
of how I was.
Yeah, because I was telling somebody, don't call my baby ugly.
Right. I know she got some wrinkles, but
Right, don't
this
be calling my baby
baby.
ugly, because I know I had to send. I have a interview that I'm going to be doing
Okay.
next month, and she was like, "Well, just," and it's somebody that I know. I've worked with them before, but they like got novels for real, like they
Mm,
for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like they
yeah.
real, real, like checks in the mail, real. Like,
Mm,
and I was like, "Look, don't be calling my baby ugly. This the first one. Don't be coming for
yeah.
me." And but it was really nerve-wracking to hit
Yeah.
send, even though we knew that it was just the, like a promo copy, but still it was still nerve-wracking just to hit send.
When you say nerve wracking, literally, I feel naked.
Yes.
And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry to all my clients when y'all were like, I'm just not ready. I get it. I get it now. Writing a novel is
Mhm.
completely different from writing an inspirational book, or,
Right.
writing a children's book. Writing a novel is like creating a whole world that people need to believe in.
Right, and can sit in and can just see the characters and feel like the characters are their new best friends, or I hate him. I,
I know my
that
sister.
whole building that dialogue. Yeah, I
Was
totally
talking to
get
me on the phone. My sister was talking to me on the phone one day, and she and her husband were like talking about the characters like they were real people. And I was like, "Who are you talking about, girl? This your book?" And I was like, "Oh,
that is too funny.
that's the reaction I want. I want
Yeah,
people to feel what I felt, and I want them to believe in the characters. That's why it was so. I mean, it's done now, and once I get the proof of the hardback, if there's some things I want to change, I can change it. But I had to let that baby go.
absolutely, absolutely.
I had to let her go. What would have happened if you hadn't written your book?
Wow. For me, at the state, I would have never known, probably had the real conversation with my sister-in-law about,
Oh,
because I didn't even realize she was into novels like that. I didn't even realize that she was a part of a whole book club.
wow.
So it's like that brought on a whole new meaning. And she was like, "Oh no, I can't wait to tell them that this is my sister-in-law book we're gonna review." So needless to say, for the book launch, since I'm doing it in Houston, my goal is to be able to give the book club advanced copies so they
Yeah.
can be at the book launch and have that built-in audience,
Mm.
to have that built-in conversation at the book launch. So I'm excited about that. So I feel like I would have been stifled And I probably
Mm,
wouldn't have felt a sense of accomplishment either because I had started on this for so long. I'm one of those, I had all these little journals, all these
mhm.
little bits and pieces of paper, and I feel like I just wouldn't have had that sense of accomplishment for me.
That's good stuff. What about you, TPC?
TPC. Okay, so if I wouldn't have wrote my book, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't have met you, and so yeah, life would have been a little different. And like now, like it's evolved into so many other things, like the coaching. Just
Mm,
I got courses and we got the workbook and we got an adult coloring book. So it's a whole lot of things that it has evolved into. So yeah, I'm excited about all the things that the one book came with because I don't think it would have brought out what it brought out now. So that's another reason that we know God did this. So
yeah. For
yeah,
me, I
so
wanted to,
definitely the way He has strategically placed us.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. It
Go
was a
ahead.
little delay there. I think for me, I wrote about motherhood because I wanted to honor my mother.
Mm,
She's been gone almost 10 years, and I didn't get to know her as a woman.
right.
And I think as I'm like going through menopause and I'm like, look at my glasses all fogging up over here. Like, I'm experiencing a lot of things that I can't sit with her and talk about. And I wanted to create space for mothers and daughters to have conversations. And if I hadn't written this book, I wouldn't have had conversation, reading it with my mom's sister. And she's like, I want to hear some more, Pen. Just having conversations with the women in my life. And now, my baby's at college, having conversations with her about womanhood. I think pushing myself. We started the class in January, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. It was pressure coming from all the deadlines and everything in the class, but I often put more pressure on myself than the pressure that's already on me. I've always done that because my daddy was really tough on us. So I always try to exceed his expectation. And writing this book, trying to get it done in 12 weeks. My best friend's mom died. I had to drive home and like motherhood. Like I'm sitting there while she's grieving her mother at the grave site, grieving my mother, grieving her mother, motherhood. And so it just really brought things full circle for me. And if I hadn't been obedient to this call, I don't think I would have stretched myself in this way. Yeah, this is scary. And I want to say scary as hell. Like,
Oh,
and I don't
absolutely.
mean that in a cuss word way because I know you a pastor, but but it is to me, it was to me as scary as hell. But I had to do the scary as hell things because I want everything that God has for me in this life. And writing this book is one of those things for me. It's a dream. I got notebooks all around this house of things I started. I literally said, okay, God, use my pen. They
Mm,
call me Pen Pen, and Pen Pen was spilling the ink.
absolutely. Absolutely.
What's your next question? This is good. I know we got to wrap up soon.
All right, so the next question is, what makes your book different from the others on the market with similar themes?
Mm.
That's a good question. And I like it. Because I'll go
Well,
with that one.
answer it,
I'll
D.
take that one. And we'll answer. What makes mine different? Because a lot of times we get pigeonholed as Christian authors. We get pigeonholed and so that was my question. Do I come out as a Christian fiction or do I just do it as fiction? Do I label it? Do I call it romance? What do I call it? And I did get this question and I said, it's just fiction. She said, and then the person was like, you know what? I know you. So it's probably got some comedy in it. It probably got. I said, but you know what? It do have a little spice. So I'll say, it has a little. It's a little spicy. But I didn't want to. I wanted mine to be different because it's actually telling about real life situations. Like this could happen whether you male or female, because it's church girl or it could just be church boy. It could be
Mhm.
anybody after dark, because in ministry we do tend to lead double lives. And I'm just being real, because you have your church life, you got your family life, you got your social life, and sometimes they don't overlap. Because I know initially I never liked for my lives to overlap, because with some people you just can't be yourself. You can't laugh out loud. You can't do
Mhm.
certain things. So you do have that quote unquote alter ego. But with Church Girl After Dark, it is a female pastor. She does have a one night stand, but the caveat of that is it was supposed to be her last time. It was supposed to be her like, this is my last time doing this, is my last time, I'm getting ready to start over fresh. And and it actually represents so many things that we go through in life. We can say, look, this is my last, no, this is my last time having this drink, and this last time leads to something else, and that's what happens with her. So I feel like that's what makes it different, is because it's going to be relatable to people, the themes in it, just whether they're male or female, on how they can relate to the chapters. And I know a lot of people that's going to be a little surprised, because it started out a little steamy, a little
Mm.
Ooh, saucy. Clock that. Clock that.
clock my tea on that one. Hey, I learned something.
Ooh, that's so good. I think for me, it's one story told in three different voices.
Mm,
So you start with the matriarch, which is Annabelle, and you learn her story. Because the log line is a woman must understand her mother's story in order to overcome her fear of being an unfit mother. So you start with the matriarch, and then you go to Joyce, and then we get to Nitty. But you have to understand the story. And I think when I learned that I was in my mother's womb when she was in her mother's womb, like that's a
Mm.
wow.
scientific fact, that
Wow.
the embryos are in the woman. And so I'm like, that is just kind of how I wrote the story. Like there's a thread, and it does have questions in there for the readers groups. Many books like that have questions, but the questions aren't just like, tell me what you think about Nitty. It's questions with depth, because I pray and have prayed for this book that there be healing circles. Like I want women to have their hearts restored as a result of reading Running Between Dandelions. And I want people to remember their strength.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So for me, it's my story. So nobody else can tell that story but me. Nobody else was, suffering from grief for so many years, and then also giving birth to a child and 8 hours later going into cardiac arrest
Mhm.
and surviving and being able to remember those things and talk about my visit in heaven and the time, the two different times or two different places that I was at. That's nothing but God. You can't explain how in the world, and after 20 some years, I can remember now being able to see my body, being able to be at the gates, and being
Mm,
able to feel the presence of my aunt that passed away when I was 16 years old, to be
mm,
able to get a touch from her. Nobody else can talk about that but me, because I'm the
mhm,
one that experienced it. And so last year, didn't even know these things, but Penda had connected me with another pastor, and I ended up learning that I was drugged and that I was assaulted. And I'm now able to handle that in a way. I'm so glad God did what He did, because if He didn't, I would have probably lost it. Probably would have been in the orange, and I probably wouldn't be writing no books. I'd have been in jail
mm,
because I would have hurt somebody. I'm just gonna keep it real with you, y'all, for real.
mm,
But I thank God that I was able to work through it. I am doing my work, and I just started trauma informed yoga yesterday. So I'm
Oh,
just
you
working through it.
started.
I am in uh, trauma therapy and then trauma informed yoga, which that'll help me to help other women that have been assaulted or been through some of the things that I've been through, so that we can walk together and they can understand me better and I can understand them better. So that's what makes my book different, because I can't say that somebody hasn't been through, but not all the things I've been through. God knows.
Yeah.
I said to myself, Lord, you really think I'm strong? Got to be. But I just thank God that I'm still here. And I was researching yesterday. I don't know what put that in my spirit, but I was researching how many people survive cardiac arrest.
Hmm.
And usually they survive like 5 or 10 years. It's been 22 years. So
Wow. Thank
I
you,
had a
Father.
miracle. And I thank God for what He's done for me.
Thank you,
And
Father.
so I was talking with a lady the other day, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to talk. I don't. No." I said, "Girl, every chance I get, I'm running my mouth about the goodness of God because I know where He brought me from."
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what makes my story different. So
That's fire.
That is
That's
so good, TPC. Thank you for for sharing that. It's so interesting. I went to yoga yesterday too.
okay,
And I know people, especially in the Christian community, they think it's like demonic and all these things. And when I was in
usually
there,
don't
she was just like, I want you to be grounded. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
just hold yourself and feel held, and I literally like wanted to cry. Like it was such a beautiful. I've been to yoga before, but I kind of shied away from it just because people were like, it's demonic, and I'm like, I needed it. I needed to ground myself, and I stretched in ways I didn't. I was like, I didn't know my leg could do this, girl. You know,
right.
Mm-hmm.
but this, going back to that question, what would have happened if we hadn't written? Like, I'm trying things I never would have tried before because I'm
Absolutely.
not afraid
Right.
of the scary things anymore.
Hmm.
That's right.
And you know what? That leads right into our next question. It's like, did you experience any anxiety around doing your book, and how did you overcome it? Because yeah, that right there is real, and I think that's something we that I hope that we can be as transparent as possible,
Yeah.
because a lot of authors don't realize once you say yes to this process that a word is definitely gonna pop up. How
Hmm.
did y'all do it?
What?
All right. So trauma therapy, and also like so yes, I still have anxiety because you just like y'all said, that's y'all babies, and I can't even make this stuff up. But it's just like, God, have your way, and then everything's gonna be all right. But I still have that anxiety. Like I told mom when she first talked about me writing this book, I looked at her like, girl, black folks don't be putting out stuff out in the street like that, mom. You ain't taught me that one. And I was like, well, why you don't tell your story? I was getting rude for a second. I was like, well, why you don't tell your story when you gonna tell yours? But I'm glad that it finally, I was able to push and get where I needed to go. And I still thank God for Penda, because as we did the work, she would send me messages and be like, okay, we covered a lot. You all right? And I'm like, yeah, girl. But yeah, but yoga, ooh, I was rough. I probably could have cried yesterday because it was just that much. It was so
Yeah.
deep. It
Yeah.
Mhm.
was deep. And I was just like, oh Lord. And I just got one class in. So I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. But I need it because everybody else need it. Most
Yeah.
time when we do stuff, it ain't about us and it ain't for us. It's for those that God is getting ready to allow us to help. So
Mhm.
that's what we are. We are helpers one to another. So
Mm.
yeah, the anxiety was there, and with the help of the good Lord, friends, and different tools to work through, and music. That's how I got through. That's how I'm getting through.
I was so super spiritual a couple years ago. And I used to just be like, be anxious for nothing, prayer and supplication,
Yup.
give it to the Lord, cast your cares. When in reality, I was having panic attacks and couldn't breathe and couldn't step foot into the church that I was going to at the time just because it was a really terrible experience. And
Mm.
when I went to therapy, she's like, you have anxiety. So
Mhm.
now I understand. She the way she broke it down to me was so beautiful. Like, we all have anxiety. It exists in all of us. Some people just don't know how to control it, and some people it takes a little bit longer for them to bounce back from. So you need to pay attention to your triggers. I already shared the experience about me releasing the book because I'm scared to death that somebody's gonna be like, it's so many mistakes, this is terrible, and I just pray. I have literally, like, I talk to Trisha, and even when she fusses at me, like, just release, and she be fussing at me, and I be so mad at her and want to hang up in her face, but she just be like, Penda, let it go, do it, and I just you over there cracking up, but I just really talk to people that I know have God's heart for me.
Mhm.
I cannot, like, I have built this team of people around me. I have a small community of friends and my siblings, and when I feel that heart palpitating and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, somebody inevitably is like, you gonna be disobedient to God or what? So yeah, I do now. I guess the way that I'm getting through it is I acknowledge that it exists. Whereas before I didn't allow myself. I felt like I had to be so strong, and I couldn't feel what I was feeling. I couldn't feel nervous or afraid because I felt like that wasn't godly. And
Oh, right, right.
now I'm like, okay, God, I can't do this without you. And you told me to do this, so do what
That's
you
right.
said you were going to do. Here's your receipt.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and I think it's so
Yeah.
challenging as women authors, as Christian women, as women that operate in the church and all that stuff. I think that's why I can relate so wholeheartedly to what you were saying about the anxiety and the palpitations. And one thing that through this process that helped me was having that support system, having you guys to be able to bounce stuff off of, honestly having my students, because for at the same time we was writing, I was actually teaching a writing class. So
Yeah.
I was telling them, if I can do it, you can do it. I think Penda even called one. I think I even had
Yeah.
Penda on the phone with my class one day, and I'm like, look, both of us in the same process, and we got to write more words than you. So if I got to do more, you gonna do. And so that helped me to being able to be in that space of like-minded people that were on that same writing journey that I was on. So that
Yeah.
definitely helped with getting over that anxiety, and also giving that belief that I can do this and I can finish. Because so many times I think our anxiety is also built on, am I gonna finish? Am I gonna make
Yeah.
the word count? Am I gonna be able look, they gonna call my baby ugly? All of that I think feeds into that situation.
Yeah, that's real right there. That's so good.
Yeah.
So, what's one word that you would say describes your process and your experience of writing this book? This isn't my first book, it's my first novel. So I would say for me it has just been obedience.
I would have to say mine, and I'm like you. This is not my first book; it's my first novel. So, and like you said earlier, it's different writing this good novel with all these things going on. And then with a self-help or motivational, you
Yeah.
just got something you like, oh, you can do it,
Yeah.
you just all happy. And so I guess I would say my one word would have to be challenging.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm, okay. So my one word is patience
Oh.
because I had to patiently wait for God to give me the courage to do this. So it took over 20 years for me to even, or matter of fact, yeah, I'm so patience to just sit still and listen. God, if y'all don't know, I be scatterbrained all the time. So for him to give me that time to sit and do what I did with Pender, that was nobody but God. Because she
Mm.
ain't got no patience. You can ask
Mm.
my husband,
Wow,
she ain't got none.
that's
That is so
understandable.
good.
She want it right then and right now, and she want it the way she want it.
I'm learning so
I'm
much
just
from y'all
being
tonight
real.
about y'all.
Well, how? Okay, since you took us there,
No.
how did writing change you personally as a woman, a mother, and a and or a faith driven entrepreneur?
Mm. Tackle that TPC.
As a woman, yeah, girl. As a woman, it taught me that I need to sit myself down somewhere and, just kind of remember that all eyes are on you. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, sometimes you don't, well, I told y'all I ain't patient. So some days, especially on the road, I got road rage some days. So yeah, I am not, oh, I don't act like no lady when I'm on the road. A woman. I be cutting up sometimes. So we gonna just leave that at that. And as a mother, it encouraged me because I have three daughters. So it made me um, pay attention more to what they needed and to remind them, go ahead and get in therapy because I don't want you to be a 48-year-old woman just figuring out what's wrong with you and why you like years, stuff like that.
Mm.
But being a faith-driven entrepreneur, y'all pray for me. She still ain't got no patience. I'm a work in progress on that. But like, oh, I can give you this one. So we can call no names, but so my book has like 3 or 4 curse words in it, but Penda helped me write it, so it just has dashes. And I was trying to get my book in a Christian bookstore, and do you know the owner said no, I'm not going to be able to put it in there because I know my church, how my church is, how they are, and I don't want to mess with the customers that I have. Now,
And it's not curse
that
words
hurt.
like that.
I
It's
know, I know they like 4-letter words, Elder, and you did it. So I know, and I was like, it hurt me, but I understood it later. And I appreciate God for I appreciate her still because I went back to see her again and she was like, "Hey girl, how you doing? I see you doing so much. I'm so proud of you." And I just said, "Well, God bless you." And I went right on because it's okay because first off, it's her business, and when I come to having a business like that, I can decide what I want to do. I can't mess with nobody's money. So,
Mm-hmm.
but in that moment it hurt because I had been faithfully going to her bookstore and everything that the church needed, I was going to get it and all that. And but it was like I said, I got over it, but it hurt uh, when it happened. So it as a faith driven entrepreneur, you gotta watch your folks because everybody that say they for you really sometimes may not be, but also you have to take into consideration she's a businesswoman and so are you, and you have to. I'm obedient and I know that God knows exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to get it done. So
well, I'm gonna come from a different.
growth, that's what it is. Hmm.
Sorry, it's that delay. Sorry, I'm gonna
Come on.
come from a different perspective because while writing this book, I wasn't working on my business. Not only was I not really generating income, my daughter was in the process of graduating from high school and going to college, and I was experiencing a lot of grief around that.
Mm-hmm.
I was spending money so
Hmm.
quickly that I ended up, like, just in full transparency, I ended up being over $1,000 in the red
Mhm.
because I had so many things that I had to pay for, and I was like flustered and didn't use the right card, and I overdrew my business account. And so I'm still, since May, still digging my way out of that. So faith has really been like my beacon. You know, I'm like, okay, I trust you, God. I know I got into myself and did too much without talking to you first. And that's a painful place to be in,
Yeah.
doing too much, and then here I am in the red, and my husband gave me the opportunity to work my business, and I'm not even generating any income. So I really struggled with that. But I wanted to share just a line from just a couple of lines from a letter that I wrote in my novel for I had this generic introduction, and one of my friends was like, I hate that letter you wrote. You need to rewrite it. Just like Deborah one day was like, I hate them pictures. You need to take it down. And you need people in your life that's going to tell you the truth, right? So she's like, I
And
hate
will.
uh,
And will.
and I listened to Deborah, and I listened to Nika Carter Young, who told me that she hated my letter, and it forced me to deal with the unspoken anger that I held towards my mother.
Mm,
And so
Mm.
I just wanted to read this. It's the introduction for mommy. As an adult, I understand what it means to sacrifice for loved ones. You fought to protect, provide for, and point me to the pinnacle of success. I admit, for years, I believe those fights left you depleted of confidence and hope. I didn't know your story, therefore, didn't understand your choices. As a result, unspoken anger led me to misjudge your passion as weakness. I know that my mother had dreams for all of us as her children to be entrepreneurs and to use the gifts that God gave us to glorify his kingdom and inspire other people. As a Christian business owner, and after having written this book, I'm honoring my mother differently. The fight to be an entrepreneur and serve other people with my gifts means so much more because I understand now, having written about Annabelle, Joyce, and Nitty, that mommy made so many sacrifices for me. And I promise I will not let her down.
Mhm.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And I think so many of us, especially those of us that have lost our moms, and now we are finally reaching those pinnacle points that we want to look up and say, "Look, I did it. I did it. I did it. I told you I was going to do it." And and sometimes you really want to say, "I told you I was going to do it. I did it. And that took me a little longer than I expected, but I
Yes.
did it." And so, and that's the way I feel, because not only for my mom, but for my dad and my grandparents, because
Mm.
those were my rocks. Oh, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not going to get
good.
emotional. So let's bring this on back, Deborah Franklin. Um,
But wait,
keep
I'm
going.
not. Hold on.
Uh-uh.
You didn't answer the question.
I'm not gonna let you gloss
I did and
over.
did and will.
I
No,
don't
I'm
want
just
you to.
saying. Go ahead.
Just for the people who are watching, I don't want Deborah to gloss over the feeling that she's feeling. So just in the comments, encourage her when you see this part right here, and remind her to come back here and feel what she felt,
Yeah, there you
because
go.
this is a form of healing, and that's why we wrote our
Mhm.
books in the first place.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because, one thing I can
Yep.
say that changed for me as a woman was embracing who I was, the all of me.
Mm.
Because, so many times as Christian women, we don't talk, especially a single Christian woman, we don't talk about our sexuality. We don't talk about our desires. We don't talk about wanting a glass of wine. We don't talk
Mhm.
about the men that we may have been with. We don't talk about our emotions of how that made you feel, or who really stood out to you. Even as a young child is going up, we don't talk about going to therapy. We don't talk about
Mhm.
listening to podcasts. But Zenobia Holiday who is the pastor, she actually goes through all of those emotions, and it was so how can I say, it was so therapeutic to be able to pour all of those things into her and just watch how her character
Okay.
developed and how she handled certain things. And this is one part of Zenobia that really is me. She had a desire to be a mother, but she never was. She couldn't have children. And so that was therapeutic. So I'm hoping that women that read this can realize it's okay that we can't do what most people think that women are supposed to do. We have a desire, especially those of us that had a desire to be a mother and we're not or are not. Because I think I've said this to somebody before. I hate when people tell me, oh, you in the classroom, those are your children. No, they're not. Those are not my kids. Those are my students. You mothered
Mm-hmm.
children along the way. No, I may have helped them, but I have not mothered them. I may have helped them or assisted them, but that's still not the same as, especially when you have that desire to be a parent, to be, to be able to do that.
That's
And as
good.
a faith-driven entrepreneur, it definitely has made me like Penda. I kind of stopped my business. I didn't push it because I really didn't have the time to push because I do what I was doing. So it was kind of hard to say, "Hey, come write your book," and I'm in the middle of struggling to write mine.
Right. Right.
We had writing sessions, or it was funny because we had writing sessions with people that were in Penda's writing class, and we sitting there writing with the people in the writing session. So it was it was like I really didn't have the bandwidth to give all that I knew I needed to give to somebody in my business. And you know what? And I do believe as a faith driven entrepreneur that's where my faith did jump in because God still provided. I still had the income that I needed to make it to that next
Mm.
section without having the other income coming in from my clients. I was still able to still go on missions projects, and normally DFP funds. I'm just gonna be transparent.
Oh.
DFP normally funds the missions trips, and we still had all the funding that we needed, and I was still finishing this process of finishing the book. So it's like I feel like all of that woven in together really
Yep.
helped me get to this moment, this time, to be able to say that writing it really I'm gonna say it like this. It really didn't change me. I don't think. I think it increased me. I think it
Yeah.
expanded me. I think it, and that if that's what
Mm,
we're gonna call the change, then I would say that will be the change because it made my vision get even larger as I was accomplishing a task that I had put before myself to complete. So I really I feel strong in that piece that that's where that change came from, is that it just helped push me even more and
Okay.
to open my eyes to what was really going on. And I'm hoping too that when somebody reads Church Girl After Dark, that they will see all of those nuances in there and be able to say, oh my God, if she can do it, then I know I can do it. It might be a fictional
Mm-hmm.
character, but prayerfully something that was written is it will come will be able to help you. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm just gonna put it out there so they know. Uh, I have a podcast, and I've been doing this podcast for, I think I've been on the air and recording for, I know, at least 5, 6, let's just say 6 years, 7 tops. So I literally in the book, I'm just gonna be transparent, y'all. I do motivational moment, just like I have always opened up my show with motivational moment. Anytime I've done a show, whether I was in the real live studio or when I started doing them from home, I still open up with motivational moment. So the podcast episodes that you read in the book, those are real podcasts.
Oh.
Those are real podcasts. Those are my motivational moments that I did. So, did I write all of them? Yes. Are they out in the world somewhere? Yes. So,
Mm-mm.
if you can actually hit play. Now, I can't tell you what episodes they came from, but I, I
Yeah.
can tell you that these podcasts Zenobia and her colleagues and her friends and her family are listening to are actually from Conversations with Deborah Franklin. I'm just being real.
Wow. That's
Because
good.
sometimes even as writers, y'all, we have to pull on everything that we have around us. We have to pull
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
or a lot of people say, well, you just repurpose some content. Maybe I did, but I still had something to pull from. You just like when you go to use, let's be transparent. When you go to use Chat GPT, if you don't have nothing to put in it, it's not going to give you back anything that's going to
Yeah.
make. So I was
No.
able to pull some things that I had already done. And so that made life so, it didn't make it easier, but it was fulfilling to say, okay, God, that's why I did what I did, because it was setting me up to
Mm-hmm.
get to this point.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's so good.
yeah.
Those experiences, and that's what you pulling on when you feeding those characters.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So our next question: what is one practical step someone can take today to start their own healing process?
Mm,
I would say the biggest practical step is acknowledging what you need to be healed from. You
mm,
can get
Mm,
healed
yeah.
until you acknowledge it. You can't
Mm,
say, "Oh, I'm healed from people talking about me," and you haven't even acknowledged what they talking about. So, are you saying that they talked about the way you look? Are you talking about the way they said something about the way you do business, the way you write, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you execute something? What are you actually getting? What are you actually needing healing from? Because when we
right.
acknowledge what we need to be healed from, then we can really take those right steps. Just like you were saying, you went to, I have never in my life heard of therapeutic, what you call it,
Trauma
trauma.
mm-hmm.
informed yoga.
I'm like, what in the ham sandwich? But if you don't know you dealing with trauma, you're not gonna know you need to be looking for that type of yoga class. And I think that's where the biggest step you have to do in your on your own healing process, because you can read every self-help book in the world, but if it's not helping what you need help with, if you just read a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. I'm gonna concur with you, Deborah. I couldn't have said it any better.
mm. Yeah. Acknowledging definitely is the first step.
All
Let's see
right,
what
so
else we
I
got.
think this is my
Um,
favorite question of all the questions that we came up with. This is my
oh,
favorite.
Jesus.
This is my favorite one. And you know what? And this is a great question to end on. Oh my God. This is like, y'all get to have fun with this. And I'm going to ask the question, and okay, but for this question, you got to tell the name of your book and then answer the question. Not giving,
Okay.
and then this, because I'm saying this because you got to be able to explain this. And because I'm like, this, when I came up with this, I ain't gonna lie, this was my favorite question. Uh, would you pair your book with wine, coffee slash tea? Because I said coffee slash tea because some people are coffee, some people are tea, and some people might be both. But we just say the coffee slash tea or water.
Well, I don't drink wine, but I would say that a nice glass of dry red wine will cleanse your palate and help your heart stay clean, because Annabelle is going to have your blood pressure rising.
Love it.
And well,
So what's the name of your
mine is
book? You
tea.
didn't follow
Oh,
direction.
Oh,
name of
Panda.
my book
Yeah,
is
Panda.
Running Between Dandelions.
Yep. So, and the name of my book is Ain't No Shame. So I should have probably picked wine, but tea is my favorite because people like what you talking about? What? But really, for real, no shame in anything. So yeah, the wine will help you to just be like, oh, I need to write that down. You know,
Hmm.
because it get the juices flowing, the creativity and all of that stuff. So I would do white wine though. I would do white wine, and then you can put a little bit of tea, or you can put little white wine in your tea. There you go. That's
Ah,
Not
it.
a little
That's
white
it.
wine in the tea. I ain't never heard
Yeah,
that.
girl. Look, I'm gonna test that theory out now. Let y'all know how it go. Right.
Okay, yes, yes, please and thank you. Yes, please and thank
that's
you.
funny.
All right, so the name of my book is Church Girl After Dark, and I would have to say all of them. Because
Ah,
when you open the book, you're gonna need some water to cool off.
okay.
As you continue to read the book, you're gonna need some coffee or tea to stay awake so you can finish it. Because at the end, you're gonna need that glass of wine just to wind down and take it.
Ooh,
So that's what you're gonna need to do. So you're gonna need all the beverages when you get ready to read Church Girl After Dark.
yes, I love it.
Yes, honey. Yes, 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 and yes. And make sure you got some ice in that water.
Ooh, well, go get some ginger beer for running between dandelions. Get some ginger beer.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Ooh.
absolutely. Now, ladies, what's happening? What we got coming on? Why did we pull this together and said we were coming on tonight? What announcement do we have to make?
You give it. Bow, 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 bow.
Bam! We having an all books pre-sale November the 28th, 2025 live. Y'all, we ain't got no time yet. We just know we're doing it on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And you just never know. We might get up and do like old school and be on at midnight time, but it's time to get your orders for this pre-sale. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I know for me, if you order Church Girl After Dark during pre-sale, you're gonna get an autographed copy. You'll be a part of the first 200 to get a hardback commemorative copy of the book. So the first 200 books are going to be hardback. I'm excited about that. You'll also qualify to be put in a drawing because we're gonna be playing games all day. So we're gonna be playing games.
Mm,
We just haven't gotten. We're gonna have the time. We're gonna get that out to you. But just know you need to save the date. So before you spend all that good money at the Walmart, getting the TV and getting all them stuff, you need because we ain't got no tariffs. So you need to make sure you save the date for November the 28th. Ladies,
well, the pre-orders for the ebook have already started for Running Between Dandelions. Paperbacks will hopefully be in people's hands on Black Friday. So I'm doing mine a little bit different than Dr. Deborah because I wanted to have these conversations going into let's be fresh going into the new year. So I'm behind the scenes working on a launch that will feature conversations and panel discussions and some therapists and comedy, and it's gonna be great. And I love that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are not leaving each other behind in the fire.
not at all.
Ooh. Well, well. So for Tricia, it ain't no shame. We will be bundling our workbook and the book. So that'll be a special. And of course, you can get the signed copy if you do get the pre-sale on November 28th. Amen.
All
Pew,
righty.
pew,
That is not.
pew.
I don't have no
Pew,
noises
pew,
on here.
pew.
If I do have some, I don't know where they are. That's so sad for
I'm
me.
about to pull that tambourine out. Y'all keep playing.
Look, I don't even mine not even back here no more. I think mine in the living room. And but I'm so excited about it. Looks like we are all approaching it now. Just so you guys know, we have been in this together, but we're also going to be planning a book tour. We're doing separate initial launches because it just worked out that way. It wasn't because at first
Mhm.
we were trying to do our launches together, but I know
Mhm.
I'll be doing my official book launch and book signing in Houston in January 24th, 2026. Pinda, I'm not sure of her dates, but I do know that the physical books, you'll be able to get the physical books on January 24th, those that do participate in the pre-sale. Now, the other thing is that we are pre-selling, guys, not just to say you get the book early, but because we're all trying to hit a bestseller list. Now, I
Mhm.
know Pinda's going for Amazon. I'm not sure which list that Trisha's going for. I'm just going for bestseller, period. I
Yeah.
got a goal of how many books that I want to sell. And so I want to be able to say, I don't need to be on somebody else's list. I want this to be monumental for the DFP group, because it's a poor dog that won't wag its own tail. I can't tell my clients that I can get that they can sell 10,000 copies and I haven't sold five.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got to
Right.
be able to be the proof in the pudding that my plan works. And so I'm so excited about what we're doing behind the scenes as far as building things up, to get things for the book signing, and for the new release of the book.
Yeah. Be the receipt or what is the proof and all of those things. That Penda called it a lot. She was like, "You got your receipts?" So yeah. So DFP got it. DFP got it.
DFP
Okay.
got it.
Yep, we're gonna
Yeah.
have some receipts from this. But y'all, I
Yeah.
hope you guys that y'all want to close out with anything else, because I think we've covered everything, and that we'll have dates, and we'll probably come back on in a couple weeks and do like a recap so we can show you guys, give you guys the exact date, and promote a little, and be able to tell you the exact time that we're gonna be on for
Right.
the pre-sale book launch, and just
Mhm.
all around kind of situation that we're going to be doing. We will be back on for that. So make sure that you guys are tuning in, that you're locked into our pages, whether it's our personal pages or our book pages. So Church Girl After Dark has a page on, I think she has a page on Facebook and LinkedIn, and
Mm.
running with Dandelions.
It's on. We have our page on Facebook.
Okay.
And my
Yeah. And I,
website, pendaLjames.com/RBD, has more information there.
okay. So I'm over the top. So I have uh Facebook page, authors page on Facebook. And then I also have my new YouTube channel, Ain't No Shame Coaching. And then I also have the books on that'll be ready or prepared for on ain'tnoshamecoaching.com.
Awesome,
Yay.
awesome, awesome. Well, ladies, it looks like we are ready to jump on out this
So
fire.
good.
We are definitely jumping into the unknown, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited about it. And I'm just looking forward to what God is getting ready to do, because I am expecting something great out of what we're doing and how we're going to do it, because it just has to be done. And who else to
Yeah.
do it but us?
Yeah.
That's
Sharon, you
Yes.
chefing
and
up
who
there
else
to
to
go.
do it but us? And God is definitely going to show up, because we would not have gone through what we've gone through with saying yes to these projects if it wasn't for
Mm-mm.
him not to bless us. Well, all right, guys, if y'all have nothing else, then well, all right, y'all. We love you to life. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Y'all have a
Please
great one.
comment, like, share.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Comment,
Especially
like, and share.
comment, like, share. Especially if you
Comment,
watching,
like, share.
if you watching the replay. Do what we need y'all to do. 1, 2, 3. Comment,
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 like,
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 and share.
share.
share. Yes.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace.